based kind of visualizations. We see a Kagi chart here, a cylinder chart, radar chart. Additionally, we also make benefit or use of geospatial representation of enterprise data. We see a map here that conveys the revenue performance across the states of the U.S. So every one of these visualizations, also being flash, has these animations that provide supplemental understanding of the information. As I mouse over every state, I can see the actual revenue number. Every visualization also serves as a kind of front door to more granular information should the user wish to pursue it. In this case, and this provides some very good insight into trends and status of the information. In this case, if we can see New York performing above goal, let's say I'd like to see how that actually breaks down at a county-by-county level. Simply click on that state. There's a classic BI drill down, but it also leverages that the visual metaphor of geospatial representation. So this allows us to see at a glance that, well, the whole state as a summary might be performing above goal, but in fact fewer than half the counties are actually above goal. But one of them, New York County, where Shaku is actually so far above goal, it's elevated the entire state to that above goal status. So visual being key in providing that kind of instant understanding and insight to information. So how might we employ this for employ some of these clever visualizations in a real-world scenario for a wealth management consumer? Well, we envision that these animated visualizations might provide some forecasting capabilities through their animated capabilities and engaging graphics. So in this case, as a wealth management customer, I can see sort of the status and health of my various investments by account, as well as my progression towards my target. And I can simulate pulling monies out of various accounts and see the impact instantly on the overall allocation and, most importantly, my progression towards my target. So I'm sure you can agree that this visual environment is not only engaging to the eye, but also can provide a high level of value for the customer, and this ultimately leads to the success of your application. And again, it's all based on the open source BIRT foundation. So let's continue with our presentation. And I'll just advance my slide. Actuate also adds the value of interactivity to BIRT, meeting the second principle of a successful RIA. Being in the BI industry for over 15 years, the Actuate Corporation realized a fundamental flaw in traditional BI reporting, that once you give a report to someone, they become more informed and their questions begin to change. With a static BI application or static report, this typically results in requests for new reports, which in turn creates a burden on IT or developers to deliver new content that might be largely redundant, perhaps different slices of the exact same information, just grouped differently. Not a very efficient process. Conversely, empowering users to interact with their content makes them more self-sufficient. The Actuate BIRT Interactive Viewer is a malleable environment that allows users to actually change the BIRT content that they're working with directly in the browser. They personalize it, answer questions, and it allows them to create entirely new reports based on the original content that they were provided. So let's actually see what interactive content means. I'll once again visit our dynamic environment here, and I'll go back to our dashboard. So the first level of interactivity when it comes to these dashboards is in actually choosing the information that we want to see. So in this particular case, we can see that in the dashboard I have what we call a doc that's available to me, and it's a palette, if you will, of different types of visualizations that I can simply select, drag, and drop. And here we see a meter chart and then a real-time stock price. So that's one level of personalization. I'm able to mash information up. But let's actually get into the BIRT Interactive Viewer and show personalizing individual bits of content. So here in my dashboard, I also see I have access to the repository. This is the iServer that I talked about earlier. And in it is a personal wealth dashboard. So we'll just bring that up, and this is actually what is arguably at this point a static BIRT report. but let's actually interact with it and gain some values. So given this report, I am formulating some new questions. And in this case, perhaps I'm wondering what are my top 5 investments and how are they actually performing. But in a static report environment, I would have to manually try to figure this out, or more costly, even ask for a new piece of content. But Actuate has provided over the top of a BIRT report interactivity that allows us to actually click on areas of the report and make changes, drag things around, or in this case, I'll reorganize my report into a simple listing. And once I do this, then I will actually filter my values down to my top 5, thus answering my question, and then sorting this information. Common types of questions that a real wealth management client might actually ask and wish to be able to disseminate from the information, and we've done so very quickly. I now understand my top 5 investments in terms of earnings, how they're performing, and I can also clearly see that 3 are underperforming. If I didn't have this interactive capability, I might not have made these come to these valuable insights, which can lead me to make more informed business decisions. Interactivity also allows me to toggle between different visual metaphors for looking at my account information. I can see it in tabular format, but I'm more of a visual character, so I'd like to change these tabular representations into visual or chart representations. So interactivity allowing me to really create my own experience, and this being a key to satisfying the customer. And again, this is all value add capability that's built on top of the BIRT Foundation. So I've just got a few more slides and we'll turn it over to Vaisi. I also wanted to touch a little bit on some areas that we won't be showing today for the sake of time, but the next principle of a successful RIA is that of context. And Actuate BIRT content delivered from the BIRT iServer is inherently aware of who the user is, what their role is, and where they are in a work process, and provides them content that is secured just for them and formatted appropriately for the task at hand. So for example, a single BIRT report can be built to serve account statements for all customers. So similar, that's in fact what we used for the last report that I just showed. But each customer who accesses it only sees their secured data and no one else's. Additionally, if the task requires that user input or interaction be useful, content can be delivered in the BIRT Interactive Viewer or as Excel spreadsheets, while content that should not be changed can be delivered as secured, non-modifiable PDF documents. And this all happens from the same BIRT-based application. Actuate BIRT applications can be seamlessly embedded in any web application so transparently that users have no idea they're using BIRT content. For them, it's simply another part of the website. And additionally, Actuate offers several integration APIs that make it extremely easy to embed BIRT content. Additionally, we have recently released a viewer for the iPhone, the BIRT mobile viewer for iPhone. And this is indicative of the ability to extend the reach of your BIRT-based applications to mobile devices, which is a hot topic today in many enterprises. So we encourage you iPhone and iPod users to go to the Apple App Store and search for BIRT. You'll be able to download a sample application that's loaded with BIRT content and see how it actually works and is available for using and adopting for your own BIRT reports in your own enterprise. So lastly, the Actuate BIRT iServer provides a massive scale required to meet the demands of user bases and the millions and millions of users, common to most outside the firewall customer-facing applications. So the iServer offers full automation of BIRT content, scheduling, security, versioning, archiving, all of the usual suspects required for a massive deployment, and a cluster architecture that provides load balancing and failover, which achieves that highly available environment. So with that, I think I've gone a little over, so I will beg apologies and forgiveness from Vaisi. I think you'll be pleased with her presentation, so I'm going to turn over controls to Vaisi Okandiar, who's going to actually show you what the BIRT design environment looks like, and this is on the open source side. Vaisi, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mark. Great presentation. What I am going to do is talk about developing a BIRT report. So first, let's go over some of the terms. Eclipse, Eclipse BIRT. So what is an Eclipse? Eclipse is an open source Java integrated development environment framework, and it supports BIRT. And BIRT is basically, it stands for Business